political dancing on the bones of the victims of the Volyn massacre. The Duda Zelensky ceremony in Lutsk is difficult to call any other way. Staged grief to suit current conditions. They both understand the absurdity of what's going on. No condemnation of the murderers by official Kiev. UPA Nazis are official heroes of the Ukrainian state. What Duda and Zelensky have done is a concession to Polish public opinion because official Kiev has still not apologized for the crimes committed by Bandera. And I will remind you, these are not some random clashes between Ukrainian peasants and Polish settlers. In February 1943, a conference of an organization of Ukrainian nationalists was held which adopted such a plan, including the extermination of the Polish population. On the night of July 11th, Ukrainian Nazis attacked dozens of settlements. The Polish population was not just killed, tortured and executed with extreme brutality. Everything that came into play was used. Hammers, pitchforks, braids, knives and axes became instruments of reprisal. Some 10,000 people were tortured in 24 hours, mostly women, children and the elderly. Bloody Sunday in Volyn was the most tragic day for Poles during the World War II. During the entire period of ethnic cleansing, some 100,000 Poles and 20,000 Ukrainians who tried to help their neighbors have been brutally murdered. My great-grandfather was saved by a Ukrainian woman who was later murdered by Ukrainian nationalists for that. But I wouldn't have lived if it wasn't for that Ukrainian woman and what she did. And of course, there were a lot of them too, and we don't know anything about that. For the Ukrainian state, they're traitors today because they saved Polish neighbors. Ordinary Poles for whom the events of that time were a personal family tragedy still remember the dead. They find it difficult to understand Duda's opportunistic flirtations with the Zelensky regime. They look with incomprehension what's happening in Ukraine when they see the murderers of their relatives being glorified.
Ukrainian Nazis murdered, massacred and burned ethnic Poles and their fellow citizens who opposed genocide with wild anger. What about today? Are Ukrainian Nazis different? No, it's just that they've gained state support and legitimacy for their atrocities. The governments of Poland and Ukraine today are very comfortable forgetting the past, rewriting books, betraying faith, make former killers national heroes.
The current followers of the UPA still regard Poles as their blood enemies. The current relationship is perceived solely as a situational partnership. In fact, Poland is pumping weapons into those who are ready at any moment to turn them in the opposite direction and bite off their nursing arm.